Okay, it is 5 o'clock Eastern time in these United States, but we've got some folks. We're going to be talking about Africa. We're going to be talking about an exciting project that is going on in South Africa. And I watched a video that these folks put out, and there is a link down in the description, so you're going to be able to all check it out. We are going to play a clip, and I am getting some feedback already. Hold on a second, folks. I'm going to show something, and then we're going to play the video clip. All right. So first of all, for donations, this is the important thing. I want you guys to keep that in mind, that you can make a donation using those QR codes. And now I'm going to play a short clip from the movie, and then we're going to talk about the movie.
Bitcoin Ekasi's mission is rooted in the idea that Bitcoin can be a pathway to economic freedom. Bitcoin is anti-inflationary money that gives anyone with an internet connection the ability to own their own money and send it to anywhere in the world without the intervention of a bank or government. I'm Aubrey, and I've traveled to Mossel Bay, South Africa, where this is all happening, to find out what it means to build a community that runs on Bitcoin and whether it's really working. Today, we're meeting Luthando.
My name is Luthando. I'm the community leader of Bitcoin Ekasi. I'm the one on board the shops up to the township, and I'm a safe coach at the Surfer Kids as well.
Luthando tells me that most people in the townships are holding their money in paper envelopes, and that many have issues getting IDs, which means they have problems getting a bank account. Bitcoin is the first investment many from this community have ever made. He tells me that Bitcoin Ekasi onboards local merchants to receive payment in Bitcoin, pays surf instructors their salaries in Bitcoin, and gives children from the township Bitcoin as an allowance.
So this is your full salary that's on Bitcoin?
Yes, everything's on Bitcoin.
Does the volatility of Bitcoin bother you?
I mean, it's give or take 50-50, because I try not to use as much money, so volatility of it doesn't really affect me that much, yeah.
Yes, we get paid at Bitcoin. I use my crypto QR. I scan that, you can pay, buy grocery for the family, and that's amazing because you can come with something at home. I think I'm doing Bitcoin here.
I spend like food to eat and chips.
So I encourage everybody to watch the full video, and here are the links. I'm going to leave them up here for a few more seconds here, so you guys can pause this and make donations. But I definitely encourage you to watch the entire video, because it is amazing what they're doing down there. Now I'm going to show a few more slides. This is the location we're going to be talking about. Notice all those Bitcoin symbols. And there again is their website address. This is the thumbnail that we used for this video, because I think we're talking about freedom here. That's what we're talking about. That's the base message that we have for you folks today. And I had to show this slide. I love the truck. We're going to talk about the truck later on. I think that's really cool. I'm a big Toyota fan, so that's a pretty amazing Land Cruiser. And then we've got, again, this is the link, and this is another slide that I pulled off of their website. We have, this is the surfers. This is a whole bunch of them that they learn how to surf, and they become surf instructors. Somebody should mute their mic. I'm getting a lot of noise. Let's see, is it this one? There we go. All right. So somebody was doing some construction there. See, I like this. Folks are in action, in motion, getting things done down in Africa. So then we've got this space here. We're going to talk about this. This is a space where they do different instruction, I guess. But we're going to talk about all this. And then we're going to talk about the surferkids.com, that URL as well. And then let me go back one more time for these, and we'll show these again at the end. And you guys are going to be able to play around with a Lightning wallet and go ahead and make a donation to these folks using Lightning, or you can do an on-chain payment. You see you have both options there. All right. And so we've got everybody here, and let's go ahead and give you guys a chance to self-introduce. Let me check the comments here and see what we've got. We've got this gentleman tuning in from, he's got Gorilla Sats. Let me know if you guys know who this is. And we've got another one of our regular viewers, Durr, is here in the house watching the show. So let's start. Let's go right around next to me. Go right around the circle. I want you guys to each self-introduce and let us know how you're involved in this whole project and what you're trying to achieve with it.
Okay, good day everyone. I'm Thinus. I'm the Special Projects Coordinator at Bitcoin Ekasi and the Surfer Kids. So I'm the one involved and driving things that needs to be done and get in place. Whenever there's a project like renovations or a skate ramp that needs to be built or the cruiser that needs to be branded, stuff like that, I get involved and I get it done.
And anybody that's not talking, try to mute your mic so we don't get feedback. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go next. My name is Hermann. I am the co-founder of the Surfer Kids and the founder of Bitcoin Ekasi. Yeah, and I work with these guys on a daily basis to manage the organization, strategize, to run it. Most of my time is spent meeting with Thinus, Chuma, Luthando. We've got a couple of other senior staff. Yeah, and together we run this thing. So yeah, I'm very stoked to be here. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Luthando. I'm a community leader of Bitcoin Ekasi. I'm doing onboarding the shops, and also I'm writing newsletters for the Surfer Kids, doing some social media posts, and I'm the one that's looking after the guys, what they are doing at the moment. Okay, cheers.
Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Chuma Makusha, and I'm the head surf coach at the Surfer Kids, and I'm also the go-to guy for the admin that that involves the Surfer Kids at the center.
Okay, now we do have a comment. Do you all know this gentleman? Somebody's saying hi. Noma. So he says the movie is amazing indeed, giving the true sense of what is happening in our community. Thanks to Aubrey, Sasa, Bitcoin, and is it Aseki? How do you pronounce that? Aseki team? How do you pronounce that?
That's Bitcoin Ekasi. I think that might be Sasa actually.
Okay.
She's one of the teammates. Yeah, she's our teacher.
Oh, so what does she do? What does she teach you?
So we run educational classes for the children. So we've got about 60 kids recruited in the program. They learn surfing some days of the week. Other days of the week, they attend sort of basic literacy classes. Depending on the age, they either learn basic mathematics, English, or the older kids learn Bitcoin. And so she's the teacher that runs that educational program. She's a former primary school teacher, so she's a qualified teacher. And she works with Ekasi full time, 5 days a week.
How do the kids in general react to Bitcoin when they learn about it? What is usually their first reaction?
Luthando should take that one.
I think you're muted. I think we're not hearing.
Oh, okay. The kids were so surprised the first time they are using Bitcoin in the township. And then we used to go with the kids around, go shop to shop, spending their assets. And that thing was amazing for the kids.
And how are the merchants reacting to it?
The merchants, the first time, onboarding the shops, they were thinking this thing is a scam. Because Bitcoin did scam many people in this township, you see. Still now, they are not believing. Some people, they are not believing this thing is there. But we keep showing them Bitcoin is real. And then like first time like I did on board the shop, we used to buy them airtime so that we can show them, okay, this is money, this is usable, like you can use everywhere you go. We use how to buy vouchers, like we show them how to buy vouchers, like Deponez Pizza, like you can go even at Pick and Pay. Is what we show them that Bitcoin is real.
So is the reason that they think that it is a scam, are they conflating it with, are they confusing it with altcoins and other that are scams? Or is there some confusion there that they don't understand the difference of what Bitcoin is as opposed to these other projects?
Okay, like there's a project like they just used to come here in Mossel Bay. Like they say people like they must put some money, like 1,000 rand, and then they're gonna get some money. Like they use money. They don't use Bitcoin exactly. Like that's what like
Okay.
they make them okay, Bitcoin is a scam.
So they've just been scammed by these other things, and so they just lump Bitcoin in with that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay.
Can I add something to that?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, you know, when you look at the type of communities that we come from, I mean, a lot of the people, essentially, we can say a lot of people are poor, and a lot of people are really desperately trying to look for quick get rich schemes, you know, that will help them to get money immediately. And unfortunately, when something like that happens, is that you'll find a lot of people who see an opportunity to take advantage of people because I mean, people are so desperate and people want a quick fix. People want money right now. So other people, you know, whom their hearts are not in the right place, they see it as an opportunity to scam people. So I'm pretty sure, adding to what Luthando was saying right now, initially, when people heard about Bitcoin, I mean, they were meant to believe that it's a get rich quick scheme. And through that, and you know, through that whole process, people, you know, got scammed. You know, so because people were really desperate at that time. So I mean, it took quite a while for Luthando to be able to convince people that actually this is what Bitcoin is, and this is how it works, and you know, it's possible to achieve a lot of things through it.
So how do you overcome that objection? What are the points that you try to make so that these folks will understand that Bitcoin is not that get rich quick scheme, that it's a get rich slowly scheme, I think. I mean, 10, 20 years, right? If you're stacking Bitcoin, you'll probably do all right. But how do you address that with them?
Should I go again?
Okay, let me go with this.
Sure.
Oh.
Go just in, yeah, this is just an open conversation.
Okay, let me go first. Okay, let me just go first. Like people like you, if you tell them about 4 years savings, like they start to complain, like they start to panic, like about that. Like if you tell them, like, okay, you have to save your money in 4 years, Bitcoin is gonna go up, like keep changing. You see, so they will run away. Like they want something like now. They want money now. Some other guy did say to me, like, no, I want money now. I don't want to wait for if I can die. You see, they used to tell me like that, if I can die. And then I say, no, think about your kids. You must think about your children. You see.
Well, that's very smart, because really that's if you study wealthy families, right, it's because they plan generationally. They don't plan for today. They plan for 2, 3, 4 generations down the road, right? And yes, if you all are getting that message across to people that you got to start thinking longer term. The beauty of Bitcoin, though, is it is still so early. I think less than 1% of people on this globe really understand Bitcoin, you know, really know what it's about. A lot of them have heard the name, right? But probably less than 1% really understand it. So we've got 99% of the people to go. So we're still very early for a fixed supply asset like Bitcoin. The upside is significant when you figure only 1% adoption, right? And we're probably going to at least end up at 50% adoption. Obviously, everybody, it's never going to be everybody, right? But let's say we just go to 50% adoption in the next 10 years or so. That's huge. That's a 50 times improvement, right? So
can I jump in there?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, actually, just with regards to the previous conversation. So you've obviously checked out a little bit of the history, but I don't know how many of your viewers have. But so the organization that predates Bitcoin Ekasi is the Surfer Kids, and before we started the Bitcoin Ekasi project, it was actually because of a scam that the surf coaches at that time were introduced to Bitcoin. So they actually came to hear about Bitcoin because of a scam. So I remember the day I walked into the Surfer Kids building, and we had two of the coaches there, and they were being approached by someone selling them one of these scams, using Bitcoin to promote the scam. And fortunately, I was there that day, and so I politely asked the person to leave, and then afterwards I had a quick sit down with the coaches, and I explained to them, look, Bitcoin is a real thing, but if you want to know more about it, and we can talk about that, but just don't pay any attention to what this guy was saying. And that was about a year before Bitcoin Ekasi started. So, and it's not so much the crypto scene that's scamming people. It's just straight up people stealing money, really. And they use the excitement and the hype around Bitcoin to do that. Unfortunately, but yeah, back to your other point, we are very early, I think, and that's why these scams prevail, because nobody understands it.
Sure. So, and this is one of the things that I heard that was disturbing to me in the video is the crime situation. And like in El Salvador, they've really cracked down on the crime and by all accounts gotten that under control. And the economy's booming. Their GDP was up like 20% in the last year. Their tourism is way up, you name it. By every metric, they're just killing it. And so what does it look like? What are the plans? How is your community going to get that situation under control? Because it seems like to me it's very difficult to have a flourishing community of any kind if you can't get the crime under control. Anybody can answer.
Yeah, I think Chuma should jump in here, and then maybe Luthando as well.
Okay, so I mean, to answer your question, like you said, I mean, we have a huge problem when it comes to crime in our communities, and one of the things that the Surfer Kids and Bitcoin Ekasi actually helps tackle is that crime situation that we have. I mean, we come from very tough neighborhoods. We come from neighborhoods where, in order, a lot of people, I mean, for some people do it for drugs, some people doing, just to help their families. They have to go a different route in order to be able to provide for themselves in whichever way, they feel like they should. And in that instance, they turn to crime. But I think having an organization like the Surfer Kids and Bitcoin Ekasi is that we tackle these marginalized youths, and we get to them at a young age. I mean, what the Surfer Kids is doing, I think it's a really amazing. I mean, it's an amazing thing that the Surfer Kids are doing, because slowly but surely, I mean, we're taking these kids out of that environment and putting them in an environment where they're able to flourish, where they're able to learn how to surf, where they're able to learn about Bitcoin, where they just literally learn how to be with other people outside of what they are used to. And I feel like in the future, I mean, one gangster off the street, it's slowly going to become an improvement as the years go by. But I mean, it's definitely not going to be an easy thing. It's definitely not going to be an easy thing, because I mean, to be honest, we live in a very corrupt nation. So sometimes just reporting these type of situations to the police is not enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what we're doing at the Surfer Kids, being able to get to these kids at a young age, I mean, at the moment we have about 65 kids at the Surfer Kids. I mean, I think that's a lot of kids, and I think 65 kids can really help change the community. If you can keep all those kids off the street, keep them in this organization, that way they get to influence. I mean, it's a ripple effect basically that's happening. And yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question.
It does, and but you don't feel like there's anybody in politics or whatever. There's not a Nayib Bukele there. There's nobody stepping up and saying, "Hey, we've got to shut this down." So it's kind of you guys have to do it from the grassroots, I guess is what I'm hearing.
Yes, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. We have to do it from the grassroots, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year or two. You know, it's a very slow process that's gonna fall into place as the years go by. But I feel like the more kids we're able to recruit from these communities, I mean, they are the future of these communities. You know, they literally are the future. So if you can get to them at a
Okay.
young age, like I said before, and then obviously that's really gonna help. But when it comes to government, I mean, at the moment, me personally, as someone who stays in these communities, and I mean, I've been staying in the township for 28 years. I was born here. I grew up here. You know, fortunately, I had people around me who were positive, who influenced me in a positive way. But when it comes to government, I really don't think government will help us. I mean, it all goes back to us, and we have to take the first step ourselves, and look out for ourselves, and try our best to do good
Okay.
for our communities.
All right, so let's talk about these kids. Okay, so they get involved in your projects early on. You're teaching them the right way to go. You're giving them some skills. They're learning about Bitcoin. That in itself is a skill. Where do they go from there? Are there things they can do to earn a living? I mean, can they start teaching, giving surfing lessons and earn money? I mean, what's the end game here? Are they going to get educated to where they just get a decently paying job? I mean, what is the trajectory of these kids as they go through your program and they get to the point where they have to start earning a living?
Yeah. So what I can say is one thing we do understand is that not every child is going to be a surf coach. Not every child is going to be, turn out to be an amazing professional surfer who travels the world and makes a lot of money. But I feel like through surfing, I mean, surfing is not an easy thing to do. I mean, it takes years and years and years to master and to be able to ride a simple wave, to ride a simple wall. So I feel like if you can teach them dedication through surfing, they can take that and apply it to other aspects of their lives in whatever they do, in whatever they decide to do. I mean, some are academically gifted, some are not. But if you can just get that core value of wanting to work towards something, and I feel like learning to surf and being part of this project is teaching them that. So not all of them are going to become great surfers or make money through surfing. I mean, I believe that some maybe in the future are going to leave the organization. They'll find different paths in life. But if they can take the values that we've taught them at the Surfer Kids, that's that hard work does pay off, and living a positive life, and doing good for your community is an amazing thing to do. So I mean,
All right.
through surfing.
Can I jump in there quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Chuma makes a good point there, and it actually relates back to Bitcoin with the whole proof of work idea, where you commit to the long term and you have a lower. I mean, Bitcoin lowers your time preference. It's done that for me. Since I've started saving in Bitcoin, which has been many years ago, I've started thinking different about the future. And this is something valuable that you can teach kids as well. And you teach that through surfing, because surfing teaches commitment, but you also teach that through exposing the children to Bitcoin and how it works. But to answer your question on a more practical level, since we've gotten Thinus on board, he's actually been working on a couple of very interesting ideas with regards to the development of actual real skills. Because it's a pertinent question you ask. What can you do for these children? At some point they have to work. At some point they have to earn a living for themselves. And then you're talking about actual practical skills that they've learned. And so maybe Thinus can hop in there and talk about some of those plans.
Yes, I think one have to start off by stating the obvious thing, which is realistically speaking, you are looking at the next generation and the generation thereafter. But literally starting, like Chuma earlier said, it's a ripple effect. And already just through the Surfer Kids program, the guys that already came through the program, there's already evidence there of guys that became, lifeguards, guys that were adopted into the program and are now employed by the Surfer Kids within the program. But now everybody can't become part of that specific program, so they need to turn elsewhere. So quite recently, we have been speaking to a professional surfboard shaper who's now going to take one of the guys who's going to become his apprentice. So this guy will now, in the next 3 to 5 years, will be able to actually shape surfboards and build a name for himself and start doing that as a profession. Simultaneously, we are looking at projects where you can actually create circular economy within the community to start, first of all, shifting mindset, and second of all, showing people the practical applications of what Bitcoin can do. Because at the end of the day, you are now in control of your money, which is Bitcoin, and you can transact on a daily basis. So one of the projects we are thinking of at this stage is a recycling project where you actually create bricks. So and we would like to call that Bitcoin bricks. So you recycle plastic, you turn that into bricks, and that bricks can then actually be bought back by the community and build housing. Stuff like that. At the end of the day, it becomes almost like a self-sustainable community, just creating circular economy. So, for example, if you have a shop which sells fruit and vegetables, but that fruit and vegetables needs to come from somewhere. So can you do, for example, a hydroponic container that's funded by and through Bitcoin, and all the transactions happen through Bitcoin? Stuff like that. So you create skills, you create economy, and at the end of the day, you create a future for the people in the community.
Is there any, are there efforts put forth to do testing to find out what path a child should take? What are they more geared towards art? Are they more geared towards math? I know I took a test when I was really young, early grade school. They gave us tests, and then they came back and they said, okay, you should be like a salesman, or you should be this, or you should be that, right? Do you do any of this to try to find out really what path a student might want to focus on? Is that something that you all look at?
I mean, this is probably something that it'd be nice if the teacher was here. I don't know if she would join us so late in the evening. But I mean, I think for the most part with the teaching, we focus on very, very basic literacy skills, because the reality is that the kind of tests you're talking about, for a lot of these kids, by the time they get to sort of middle school, they still haven't, mastered basic literacy in mathematics and English. The schooling system in South Africa has, unfortunately, and this is because of political corruption, and basically the failure of central planning and big government. The schooling system in South Africa is unfortunately largely a failure. It's hard to explain how desperate the situation are in South African schools, in poor communities particularly. There's absolutely fantastic education if you can afford to pay for it. But if you cannot afford to pay for it, and you're relying on the state-funded education, then the situation is absolutely shocking. So we kind of just, at the moment, we're still just basically trying to cover the basics, make sure that there's basic mathematics, basic English language, and then if we can move on to finance, and basic financial literacy. So no, to answer your question, the short answer is we haven't gotten that far yet, but it's very recent that we've introduced. I mean, look, for the first 8 years of its existence, the Surfer Kids focused only on surfing. Surfing was the one thing that we taught, and nothing else. Between 2010 and well, it's more than 10 years really, because between 2010 and 2021, we basically taught the kids surfing on a daily basis, and we would feed them. So every day they'd get a meal and they'd learn to surf. And it's only since 2021 that we've brought in the educational component, because I realized that if we're going to introduce Bitcoin in a community, the responsible way to do that is to couple it with education. And so the educational component is still very new. And we have already started seeing this education. We've started seeing that. We've started seeing children show more interest in the Bitcoin only component, and they're not really so much interested in surfing. And then other children are not so much interested in education, and they just want to come to the beach and surf. So we are going to start seeing that sort of divergence with children having different interests now that we have two different educational programs, one with focused around surfing and the beach, and the other one being way more academic and focused on financial literacy and Bitcoin and that sort of thing. So we will eventually get there, but for now we're still covering very, very basics.
Sure. I'm going to show the QR codes again here. So folks, if you're watching this live or you're watching it after the fact, these people are doing some heavy lifting down there. Okay. These people are taking the bull by the horns. They're putting these kids on the right path, and they do need some donations. So if you just want to learn how Lightning works, if you're new to Bitcoin or whatever, think of it like a little video game you're playing on your phone, right? So set up a Lightning wallet. Wallet of Satoshi is the one that I recommend. Set up a wallet of Satoshi. Get yourself some Bitcoin. I have links on my Bitcoin page, CraigShipp.com/Bitcoin. You can use Strike in a lot of countries. There's several links on there of easy ways to buy Bitcoin, the Cash App, whatever. Then send some Bitcoin into your wallet of Satoshi, and then send a donation to these folks. Just scan that QR code, go to send in your wallet, scan that QR code on the left, and you'll see how this thing works. You'll see how Bitcoin works, and it will be an eye-opener. Just doing that will be an eye-opener for those of you that have not looked into Bitcoin and don't know what this thing is all about, right? So do that. Get yourself some Bitcoin, and I'll help you out. If you need to email me. You know how to get in touch with me. Or DM me on Twitter. I don't care. And we'll help you out so that you can get some money into your wallet of Satoshi, some Bitcoin, and you can send these guys, just send them 10,000 sats, send them 20,000 sats. 10,000 sats is probably $3 right now. I don't know. So yeah, just make any donation, and then you'll see how this whole thing works, and it'll be an eye opener, and you'll understand what these folks are doing down there is they are using Bitcoin to really enhance the lives of these kids. I mean, to put these kids on the right path, to build a community that's based on proof of work, that's based on the values that made any decent community successful over the eons, right? You got to have a rule of law. You've got to have people working together. You got to have people respecting each other. And I think that to learn how to surf, you got to respect those waves too, right? These kids are learning a lot down there. And so do that. I'm going to put this up one more time on the screen. It's not that I'm twisting your arm or anything, but I'm twisting your arm. Go ahead and pause it and scan that QR code, send them some Bitcoin, and they're going to put it to good use. You've seen these folks. You've heard these folks. You've heard them talk about what they're doing. They're the real deal, okay? They're not trying to line their own pockets. They're not trying to scam anybody. They're trying to do something positive down there for these kids. So make a donation to them. One thing I want to ask, and then we're going to open it up for just a round robin and some final words. But I do want to ask, whose truck is that Land Cruiser?
That's Luthando. Luthando drives the Bitcoin truck.
Yeah, I'm the one who's driving the Bitcoin truck. Yeah,
I love it. Is that the Land Cruiser that has the solid front axle, or is it the newer one with the independent suspension in the front? I don't know if it's a Series 100 or 200, what they call them there, but do you know, is that the one with the solid axle, or is that the newer one?
I think it's a Series 80, Thinus?
Yes, this is a 1994 80 series Land Cruiser. I'm not sure whether the axle is solid or I'm not sure about that, but it's a 80 series 1994 Land Cruiser.
And has it been really reliable?
Luthando, you got any issues with a Land Cruiser?
No, I don't get any issues with the Land Cruiser.
It's been reliable.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
so
there's only one issue:
Ah.
the amount of fuel it uses.
And also, like traffic cops, they don't stop the Land Cruiser. They never stop the Land Cruiser. Ever since I drive the Land Cruiser, that's I say you can pass.
I'm surprised they don't stop you all the time to just try to get a little fine out of you. I mean, they figure you have a lot of money. You got a Land Cruiser, right? So, Brief Fit Dance is in the house. She's got a comment. She says, "Hey guys, which exchange is the best one to invest some Bitcoin in? Which exchange?" Well, I can answer that, Brief Fit Dance. First of all, I use a bunch of different platforms to buy my Bitcoin. But the important thing is once you've secured the Bitcoin, once you've gone ahead and purchased your Bitcoin, move it into self-custody, because that's the beauty of Bitcoin is you can be your own bank. And we talked about this in the pregame show before we went live. That is the unique thing about Bitcoin is you literally can take custody of a valuable asset that you then control, and only you control it. And it's virtually not confiscatable if you secure it properly. If you memorize your 12 or 24 words or otherwise keep them safe, that's it. Nobody can get that Bitcoin. All the king's horses and all the king's men cannot take that Bitcoin away from you if you secure it properly in self-custody. And we've really never had a global asset like that in all of human history. If you think about gold, for example, the bad guys can come and take your gold pretty easily. I don't care where you try to hide it, they're going to find it. Whatever rock you put it under, they're going to find your gold in time. And whereas with Bitcoin, they don't necessarily even need to know you even have it in the first place. And even if they do know you have it in the first place, you could just say you forgot your 24 words. I wrote them down somewhere and now I can't remember where they are. If you can find them, fine. But, I don't remember what they are. I mean, it's just so easy that it's incredible. So Brief Fit Dance, that's what you do. You buy your Bitcoin and you get it into self-custody. Do you guys have any other comments on that aspect of it?
Well, I would say, I know this is not possible for everyone, but I would say better than buying Bitcoin is earning Bitcoin. If you can find yourself in a situation where you are able to earn Bitcoin, this is how I came into Bitcoin for the first time. I adopted it as a matter of necessity. I had no other way to receive payment from overseas clients as they were stuck behind sanctions. And we work with overseas clients, so it just makes sense. And buying Bitcoin earning Bitcoin, is different because you kind of don't feel so bad about spending it, because at some point, like if I earn 100% of my business income in Bitcoin, I'm not only holding Bitcoin and saving for the future, but I have to spend some of that Bitcoin because we still have to live. I have to buy food. I've got to look after my family. And so if you're earning Bitcoin, you're growing the Bitcoin network in two ways. You're holding it, but you're also spending it, and you're growing the Bitcoin economy. It's very hard to justify spending Bitcoin if you're buying it. But it's very easy to justify spending Bitcoin if everything you earn is already in Bitcoin. And so I would suggest actually not buying it, but actually earning it. See if you can convert your salary to Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what I did, and it really turned out to be a positive thing. I did it just for convenience sake for me, but it turned out to be positive I have folks that work for me on a contract basis, on a piecemeal basis, and they do a task and then they send me a text message basically confirming that task is finished. And then I immediately send them sats using Wallet of Satoshi. And then they text back a code, a number that confirms that they got it. And so literally within seconds, they've completed the task, I've paid them, and they've confirmed that they got paid. And that saves me so much time from doing it the old way I used to do it, right? And what's neat is I can pay them more frequently because it's so quick and easy. And they always, anybody working, they always want to get paid right away, right? They don't want to wait every 2 weeks for their paycheck or whatever, right? They want to get paid as soon as possible. So this allows me to do that. This allows me to pay them on the barrelhead when they complete the task. It's done. It's behind me. I don't have to worry about it. I've got confirmation from them that they've gotten paid. Everything is right there, and I can move forward. And I've converted all of my contract workers to that system, some of which weren't Bitcoiners to start with. But I said, you got to have, if you want to keep working for me, you're going to be a Bitcoiner. And they've all started doing it, and they love it. And they're more productive. They get right on the task and get it done because they know when they get the task done, they're going to get paid. And so for payroll, for me, I love it. I absolutely love it. And they love it. And so it's a win-win. And it's generating more Bitcoiners because they've also then gotten other people, to become Bitcoiners so that they can exchange money with them. So it just continues to grow. Why don't we do a wrap up round robin here? Everybody just take a minute or two and just give a summary of whatever you want to say to the viewers that are either viewing right now or that are going to view later. Most of the views will happen later on. Give your final elevator pitch as to why they should visit your website and maybe make a donation. And I'm going to go ahead and put those QR codes back up while we do this. Go ahead.
Should we go around the circle again? Thinus, you can start.
Sure. Just go right on around. Just whoever's ready, just go for it.
Okay. I think my final words will just be, at the end of the day, the future is created by what we do today and not tomorrow. And we are really making an effort and doing the best we can to create sustainable change in difficult situations where we have a lot of challenges. But rather than focusing on the problems, we are focusing on solutions. And to do that, we need funding. And that's the only way we can drive transformation is by getting the right resources to make change and make change sustainable.
All right, who's next?
Chuma, Luthando.
It sounds like they're in motion making things happen.
What I can say, Bitcoin it do change my life because I was staying on the shack Asazani, when the rain, it was raining, my house was raining as well. But also today I'm getting paid in Bitcoin. And also I can save my money in Bitcoin. But the time I was getting my salary in res on via my bank account, I was not able to save my money. And Bitcoin really changed my life. And now I'm living on the proper house. And then Hermann is helping me to pay my rent. And then I would like to say people, they must see what we are doing. We are changing children's life, and then we also want to see the change of this community. People they want to see people they must start using Bitcoin. Bitcoin is life. Bitcoin is future. Cheers.
Yeah, well, I think everyone pretty much summed it up. But I will say that, you know, what's happening in our community at the moment, and what the Surfer Kids and Bitcoin Ekasi are doing, it really is amazing. I mean, we're changing people's lives. Well, we're trying to change people's lives. It's no small thing. I mean, it's definitely not a small thing. And for me personally, I mean, it hits home to me because I came up through a project like this, similar to this, and I've seen what it can do for people. And I've really seen what it can do for people. And, if everyone out there who's watching this, who's seeing this, we'd really much love your guys' support. We'd appreciate your guys' support, and we appreciate everyone who's been supporting us up until this moment. And we're slowly changing people's lives. And yeah, thank you very much to everyone who's been supporting us. And we look forward to, maybe, I don't know, maybe someone who's watching this live, hopefully come visit the Surfer Kids one day and really see what's happening down here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try live on the thing. I said it's easy, right? So I'm going to see if I can send a donation right now. So let me go to solo layout. Here we go. And I'll go to the wide shot. Okay. So, all right. So I've got my phone here. I've got Wallet of Satoshi up. I've got their QR code right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on send. All right. You see that it activated the camera. And I'm going to go try to scan the QR code. I just scanned it, and it brought up their address on the screen here. It says pay to Bitcoin KASI. Let me see if I can show you guys closer. See, you can kind of see right there what it says. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, let's say 20,000 sats. Okay, so we got 20,000 sats on here. Okay, it's only $6, right, guys? Come on, you can donate $6, okay? So then what I do is I just click here and I hit send. Bam. Success. Payment received. Okay, so that's it. That's how hard it was. Let me exit solo layout. There we go. That's how hard
I just
it
saw
was.
the payment come in.
So just like that, he just instantly got the payment all the way over in Africa. Are you in South Africa right now?
Yeah, I'm in South Africa right now. I was watching as you hit the send button. Literally less than half a second later, I got the payment in the Ekasi wallet.
There you go. So folks, this is the thing. If you watched this show and you're not motivated to A, learn about Bitcoin, B, get yourself a Wallet of Satoshi wallet, and C, send a donation to these folks. If you're not motivated to do that by the time you've watched this video, I don't know what to say to you. I don't think I can help you at that point. But do it. You're supporting a good cause. I almost never promote charities and ask people to make donations to anything. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever done this on the channel here. Maybe I've done it once in 15 years. I don't know. I just don't do this. Okay. But you watch the video that they produced. The link is down in the description. You learn a little bit more about what these folks are doing, and you're going to want to send them a donation. You're going to want to get involved, because this is the real deal. This is what life is all about, in my opinion. Can
I jump in there?
Yes.
I just want to add one last thing. Yes, please do donate and support the project. It's very much appreciated. But even more than that, one of my, well, I have two primary motivations for starting this project, and the one was to continue helping the community that I've been involved in for so long. I'm not from that community, but I've spent so much time and energy on trying to help this particular community that I wanted to keep doing that. That was my first motivation. But the second motivation, and this is where I'd like to speak to the people watching this, is to copy what we're doing and implement it elsewhere if you can. It's not that difficult, really. I was inspired by Bitcoin Beach. The Ekasi project wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for what the folks at Bitcoin Beach did. I was inspired by what they did, and really it showed me how possible it is. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that this would be possible. It seems like a very daunting thing to do, to start a Bitcoin circular economy, or just to start adopting Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form in your local community. But it's not actually that difficult, and there are many examples, and we hope to be one of those examples that can inspire adoption. If the videos we put on YouTube can help educate people on how to do this, if the example we set can help educate people on how to adopt Bitcoin, then that's also, for me, very much mission accomplished. Because at the end of the day, what I want to see is Bitcoin become global money. For me, this is a way to move the world forward, move the world into a better direction than where it's going at the moment. And so I very much appreciate support of the project in any way, shape, or form people can support. But even more than that, I appreciate people using this as an example and trying to copy and adjust. Obviously, don't copy paste. Be inspired and take ideas, but implement it in the way that you can implement it in your local community. Go to shops, talk to them, go to people. And the thing is, and this is the last thing I would say, is that the lesson that I learned from this project is to talk to people who need Bitcoin. Try and identify who it is that needs Bitcoin, and go and talk to them. There's a lot of people out there who don't necessarily need it, and for them it might not be a case of adopting it tomorrow, but there's a lot of people in the world out there who do need it, and for who this solves an immediate problem. And those are the people who we should be focusing on in terms of Bitcoin adoption, because it does solve a lot of problems. It makes things easier. I mean, this is the reason I adopted Bitcoin. It solved the problem for me.
Yeah. Speaking of needs, I think Aubrey mentioned in the video that she bought some apples for some of the students. So, so that 20,000 sats that I just sent, how many apples would that buy down there?
Let me do a quick conversion here quickly. It's very late at night, so my mathematics.
I'm going to put the QR codes up again while you do that.
Close to midnight. My math is not that good.
We'll get a rough estimate of how many apples 20,000 sats would buy.
Sure. Yeah, you could buy a whole box, man. You could literally buy a whole box.
So a lot of apples.
So a lot of apples.
That's the other thing, is your donations are going to go a long way. It's the point I'm trying to make. Even if somebody just donates, a couple dollars worth of sats, that donation is going to make a big difference. So, and these guys are operating extremely efficiently. And so, yeah, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you all for coming, and we're going to wrap this puppy up. And anybody that's watching after the fact, if you need any help with any of this, feel free to DM me or contact me through the through the YouTube. Oh, I did want to show, before I forget, I do want to show all the Twitter accounts of the people that helped out. Let me make this solo. Okay, so that's Aubrey's Twitter. Get rid of this. Okay, and this is their main Twitter, the organization. There's another Twitter account. I want you guys to follow all of these. Am I not following that one? I'm following that one now. Here's another Twitter account. So just make a note of all of these. Make sure you're following all these folks. All the links are down in the description as well. All the links to those Twitters, and also the link to the Exit Solo. Also the link to watch the full documentary. Definitely watch that if you haven't already watched it. That's in the video description. Thank you all for coming. I know it's late. Get some rest and have a great, productive day tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.